So, meanwhile, an Israeli official says Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told Secretary of State John Kerry that there's no reason to suspend these flights to Israel. Meanwhile, as we said, former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg says he is flying to Tel Aviv tonight on El Al to demonstrate that it is safe. So joining us now is Paul Hirschson. He's the spokesperson for the Israeli Foreign Ministry. Mr. Hirschson, thanks so much for being here. The reason the FAA shut down U.S. flights to Ben Gurion is because a rocket strike landed a mile away from the airport. How can you say it's safe for airlines to land there?
Hi, thank you for having me. I think that what we have is just a simple misunderstanding of the defense regime that exists here in Israel. You've heard a lot about the Iron Dome anti-missile defense system. The Iron Dome is calibrated to ignore missiles that are headed for open areas. The airport is not included in that. So the fact that a missile lands in the area of the airport is simply because we have decided consciously to avoid it. It's 100% safe to come into Israel, to leave Israel. We're doing that all the time. And as you mentioned, Michael Bloomberg is on his way.
Okay, so you're saying that the fact that there was a missile that landed a mile away from the airport, that's okay, and that passengers on flights shouldn't be concerned about that distance?
Look, I'm not an expert in air aviation and navigation, but I can tell you that the Iron Dome system, the anti-missile system, is calibrated to target certain missiles and to ignore certain missiles. We're not going to ignore any missiles that are headed for an area, for a place that we don't want them to land.
Well, listen, the Israeli Defense Forces put out a press release today, and I'll just read to you what it says. They say today 87 rockets were fired at Israel. 18 of them only were intercepted. 67 of them, they say, hit Israel. Isn't it just prudent today, it's only a 24-hour ban, today, given what's going on the ground there and that 67 missiles hit Israel, to stop flights?
Well, that's not a decision for me to make. That's a decision for the Americans to make, or airlines around the world to make. But the numbers that you present are correct. But that's only because those 67 were headed for open areas, for uninhabited areas, and so the Iron Dome system is calibrated to ignore them. It's not because they got through the defense mechanism. It's because there's a conscious decision taken not to take them down.
Mr. Hirschson, while we have you, as you know, Secretary Kerry is in Egypt working, we're told, on a ceasefire. Do you know what the latest is?
Well, we've got two things going in parallel at the moment. There's a lot of conversation underway about a ceasefire. As you mentioned, Secretary Kerry is in Cairo. Ban Ki-moon, the Secretary General of the United Nations, is here in Israel. And there are a lot of conversations going there. In parallel to this, the Israeli military continues to pursue and to deplete and degrade Hamas's military capabilities, not least because we're seeing, despite misunderstandings, decisions made about the airlines around the world flying into Israel, and we're chopping off their military abilities, both in terms of the rockets and in terms of this underground network of terror tunnels that has surfaced in the last few days. The question is whether we can find a way to merge these two paths and to reach a diplomatic solution as opposed to a military solution. But in either event, we are committed to reaching a solution to this problem.
Excellent. Good to hear. Paul Hirschson live for us from Tel Aviv. Thank you.